you go.
Adnan, hello.
Hello.
Hi. I apologize for being late. I was trying to get so much work done before, and then whoops, it's time. So how are you all?
You're good.
Good. That sounds like Suzanne.
It is. Thanks for recognizing.
Well, of course. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And so who else is here?
Rahman and Tomas.
Oh, welcome. And who else?
I'm Rick.
Debbie's here from L.A.
Hi, Debbie. How are you? Hi. Who else is here?
Sadanam.
Hi, Sadanam. Also
Hello.
from L.A. How are you?
Good, good.
Great. And who else?
Amrit.
Amrit, you're here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Who else is here?
Param Dian is here. Aloha.
Oh, Param Dian. I'm glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
How's the job coming?
We'll see on Saturday. They fly me up to say to check it out.
Oh, cool. Okay, we're all sending you heart breath, okay?
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Kathy in Houston, or in Alaska. Back in Alaska.
Oh, this is confusing, Kathy.
Yes, I feel confused myself. I spent my time at Thanksgiving down in Texas and Oklahoma where it was in the 70s, and now I'm here in Alaska with all this snow, but it's nice. Luckily, I'm adaptable.
Luckily, you said it. Good to have you.
Thank
Who
you.
else is here?
Hargo-Ben.
Hi, Hargo-Ben. How are you?
Hey, Siri Gian. I'm doing good.
Good. We loved your gonging.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you saw it on the newsletter, right?
Yes, I did.
Good. We really appreciate it. Yours and Guru Rabi. I
we
loved
enjoyed
it.
doing it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was amazing. It was really quite amazing. When I listened to it, it was like it was changing my brain waves or my energy patterns in my brain. It was quite amazing.
We were just talking about that. You there,
Who said that?
Suzanne.
And what are you saying?
Hargovan was telling us how he healed a ganglion cyst with the gong.
No kidding.
Yeah, I had it for 22 years, and it disappeared after I started playing gong. It took probably about 9 or 10 months of playing the gong every day.
Oh, my
God.
God.
It's better than getting an operation. It was huge, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Brother, that's fabulous. Okay, thank you for letting us know.
Uh-huh.
And who else is here?
Harimander.
Oh, hi, Honey Munder.
Hey.
Listen, after this call, will you call me, and I'll tell you how to get the recording?
Ah, okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. And who else is here?
Carol is here.
Oh, hi, Carol. Another Juno. We got 3 Junos. And who else? Okay, well, it sounds like we better get started. And while we're doing this, for my own safety, will somebody just every once in a while say, uh-huh, so I know you're there? Will that be okay? You know what happened last week. I got bounced off and spoke to thin air for about 15, 20 minutes. Okay.
Sorry, I missed that.
Okay. Okay, so let's sit straight. You can rub your palms together. And then put them at the heart center. And begin long, deep breathing. Relax into your third eye. Relax and be very aware of what we're doing when we tune in. Remain really understanding. Om Namo. saluting that infinity from deep within. And inhale. Long deep breath. Good. And begin heart breath. And with this heart breath, really love yourself. And if you put up any walls to that, just say, I love you. I forgive you. I love you. Love yourself. That's the best. That's what union is all about. Good. And now send this beautiful heart breath, this beautiful love energy. Excuse me. Please send it to each other and receive it from each other as we become this one graceful, grateful ball of light. Oh, just feel it growing. This is true. There's a new element here. In addition to the power, there's a new element. And, sir, what is that new element? He says it's a very graceful element of very, very high defined energy. He says before you all have been creating light, the power of the light, the power of connection. He says, but now he's saying this is kind of like what we used to call a sky hook. It's very, how can I say, it's very pristine. And it is above, way above words. So let's just say it's there. So please keep up this beautiful joining of one another with your heart breath. He calls it a sky hook because it pulls up all of our other vibration, all of our total vibration. Keep up and let it sort of fill in so it communicates with this. The levels we're more familiar with. But something is growing and being born. And he says we'll talk about that more another time. Just have recognition and confidence that it's occurring. That when we get on these calls, it's just not talking. Some other energy formations are occurring. He says this goes for the people who are on the call live and also for the people who are listening to the recording, no matter when. Good. And now continue to really expand this energy out, really expand it. It's like expanding your aura in all directions. It is our joined aura, in which we are including Padam Dhyan's new situation. As well as Syria, the whole Middle East. Put them in our loving energy now. That's it. Keep opening. Keep expanding. And there's no lack of self-confidence. Lack of self-confidence will keep the energy from expressing itself. That's the reason we work on our healing, not only for ourselves, but for all of humanity, which you all have come here to serve. I have no doubt about that. And did I say, please send it also to our U.S. Congress people, to the President. Baba Siri Chand says, do it as we move into this. He calls it a shameful time. Sir, why is it shameful? He says, do I have to tell you? That's it. Allow the heart energy. Heart breath is long, deep breathing from the belly, exhaling only through the heart center. And what comes out is healing energy out of your heart center. He says this is the place of this new age. This is the portal of the new light of this Aquarian age. Good. And inhale and exhale. And he says, allow any broken hearts. He says, allow them the peace, the safety of heart breath. Okay, so what we're feeling strong today is the energy of broken hearts that gives no confidence to you. Just keep up heart breath for this whole thing. Okay, so now he's saying, when you have been wounded, when you have wounded yourself, deeply wounded yourself, he said it could have been this lifetime, could have been other lifetimes. He says deep wounding. He said it slices your heart. And he says, you know, when you have had operations or been in accidents or something, he says when your body grows back together, often there is scar tissue, sometimes what we call keloids. He says the same thing happens to the energy of the heart. He said in those areas that have grown back by way of scar tissue, he says you know that there is pain there. He said as the scar continues to grow, there's more and more pain. And sometimes it feels excuse me. Sometimes it feels perpetual. Sometimes it feels there is no stopping the pain. He says, just please allow your experience to come up, please. He says when that happens, he says there are missteps in communication. There are missteps in communication between your heart and your mind. There are missteps in communication between you and other people. And he says missteps in communication between you and your very own soul with other beings that you call higher beings. He says, and it all comes from the scar tissue. He says sometimes we carry that scar tissue around because we feel it is fairly like, you remember that book called Red Badge of Courage? He says, well, sometimes you carry it around sort of as a badge that you have been through difficult, hard times. Sometimes you carry it around because it results from a great deal of fear. For instance, what would happen if I opened my heart? Would I find chaos? Or would I find divine love? Well, heck, I'm not going to try. What if I found chaos? I opened myself entirely to that. Then I'd be in trouble. So sometimes it has to do with a feeling of, well, who would accept me anyway? Nobody's ever really accepted me. But the question is, have you ever really accepted you? Devoid of other people's opinions, and in the total knowledge of who you are, which is totally sacrosanct. He says, you are the vision of God on earth. He wants you to repeat that all together, but with an I. Okay, you ready? I am the vision of God on earth. Do it one more time. I am the vision of God on earth. He says, thank you. He says, keep that as your sacred mantra, your sacred pledge. He says, this is what all of your life is about. Now that you are on the return, now that you are on the return trip to realizing this, he says, do you see that? And he says, any time that your heart hurts, that is distressed by these keloids, he says it has to do with misunderstanding. He says they are salvageable. He says they are. He says the first thing you do is you put yourself in the hands of the Almighty, and you say, I am yours. I am yours. I do not belong primarily. First of all, my source is not this world of wishes and woes, he calls it. This is a world of wishes and woes. He says that is not your source. When you learn that from the very core of your being, when you turn that upside down to understand that your source is the doer of all, that is not what we call our everyday self, but the doer, the infinite that acts so cozily in the finite. When you give yourself over to that, when you relax in it, remember, you have to relax. He says, isn't shunya, that is the neutrality or the 0 point, isn't that totally relaxing without collapsing? When you are in that state of shunya or the 0 point or total relaxing and open, having let go and relaxed out of the keloid of the broken heart, which means just letting go of the heart hurts, at least for the moment, using your heart breath. Relax into the infinity, to your source, to your real source. He says, can you feel that now? Can you? Can you feel the extraordinary ability of that? He calls it the great righteousness. Sir, what do you mean by the great righteousness? He says his great righteousness is not what I'm referring to. What I'm referring to is not what a preacher would talk to you about righteousness. A preacher would give you prescriptions for righteousness. Do this, don't do that. If you do that, you're going to hell. He says that's not righteousness. He says that's demented control. Do you understand that? If someone gives you a prescription that keeps you in a certain pattern, that keeps you away from understanding and being absolutely, totally alive, he says sentient in the oneness. He says that is a prescription for death. Okay? He says what you want is a prescription for life. The life has to do with allowing the healing, and the healing are all those doubts, misgivings, scars that we've accumulated over lifetimes for certain reasons. He says we're not necessarily going deeply into that right now, but understand that it has all been a necessary part of your play, your soul's play, the divinity of the divine, of who you really are as the vision of God in this arena. He says, in this circus, he says, I'm using that as a double meaning word. Circus means arena, and it also means kind of like a lively play. Okay? He says, in the circus of this life, you are very gifted. Please relax into that. Do not take yourself out of the recognition of being gifted as the divine. He says, if you are the divine, which all of you know at least in your head, if you are the divine, how could you not be gifted? Simple, right? Simple axiom. You simply are. And the whole quest of your lifetime is to relax enough, to heal enough, to relax, to realize that. He says that is all self-realization is about. Can you imagine? As you do that process, he says the scars of the heart are healed. He says you may need to allow the experience of that hurt to occur again as you deeply, meditatively forgive. He says, good work. He says, allowing the scars to transform so that you may see clearly. He says, allowing the healing is like washing the windows. In full union is finally throwing the windows open and accepting the totality of this love and light. He says, again, he says, please say this with me. I am the vision of God. Say it all together now. I am
the vision
of God. He said, let it sink in. Use your breath. Use your heart breath and let it sink in. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? He says, you are not throwaway material. There's no way. God cannot throw itself away. Do you understand? Do you understand the beauty, the pleasure of your being? He says, this is your destiny. He says, you may think that your destiny is doing certain kinds of work and so on. He says, to some extent that's true. But you really can't truly engage in that work until you, he says, put it this way, as you totally are in the process of understanding, of feeling, of knowing. He calls it with every corpuscle. I would call it with every molecule. Every bit of your being, all of your physical being, your mental being, your energetic being, as they are allowed to merge together in this pure energetic realization, he says, this is your destiny, this realization of union. And the more constant, he says, being constant means pay attention to it. The more constant you are with it, he says, it unfolds. It unfolds. He says, do you understand that? Whatever your life's work, whatever your life's expression of soul here on earth, whatever that happy guidance gives you, you follow. He says, that is your destiny. You no longer control. He says, you stand to the test. You move with the flow. You hold the space. But basically, you give over control to the absolute flow of that precious being of who you are, which is the source, which is the God itself. He says, please, right now, do your heart breath. And he said, and check around there in your heart center. He says, are you finding any of those scars there? Any limitations? He says, do your heart breath. Forgive them deeply. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for hanging on to them. Forgive yourself for believing that they are your true identity. He said it's important to have gone through all that. He says nothing's wasted. It's important to have something to transform through, which you are doing now. He says, but bless those scars. And he says, please offer them as your sacrifice to the Almighty. Offer them. Most respectfully, most kindly. And see them accepted, just totally accepted as you are loved, as the scars are loved by your true source. You are the oneness. Do you feel that preciousness? That preciousness of who you are. He says, please be well adjusted to the fact that you are absolutely precious. All parts of you are precious. The parts that you feel have made a mistake, the parts that you feel have been dumped over, the parts of you that you feel have been treaded upon, murdered, squashed, shot. Allow forgiveness for feeling that those parts of you were not valuable. Allow every part of you to be valuable. Even the parts of you that may have actually hurt others. He says, drop the guilt. Forgive yourself. Understand the play. Understand the circus. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Let go the whole victim cycle that takes you from the true reality of who you are. Okay. Again, we're going to say our mantra together. Okay? I am the vision of God. And again, I am the vision of God. Do you see that you have just sacrificed, let go the old non-believing self, the hesitant self? Let go the self-recrimination and accept the truth. Accept the truth. He says, allow your whole body and your whole mind to accept that truth. To totally understand who you are. He says, you can do it. You are the one. You are the one. He says, it serves no purpose. It serves no purpose at this point to hold on to crummy self-judgment, which can include, oh, I am too small. I could never do that. Who am I to be such and such? I need things to be the way I need them to be. I want others to follow my road because I am in charge. I know the truth. He says the truth rolls through you at every second. And for others to know the truth means that they relate to the truth in their own beings at every second. That's the truth. He says words can guide you there. Words can give you confidence. Words can help you go into your own healing, which is resistance to that light, that knowing, that feeling, that awareness of truth. However, truth is only in the second-to-second being, relaxing in the shunya, in this, he calls it a quartet of kindness. Why do you call it a quartet? He says, oh, you ask so many questions. Because it encompasses all levels of your being, or 3 dimensions plus the 4th. Keep up the breath. Okay. Keep up the breath. And just know what a blessing. It says, love yourself now. He says, and now let's shout it out again. Okay, you ready? I am the vision of God. Again, I am the vision of God.
God.
Yay!
Yay.
He says, you all are so blessed and fun. He says, I really love you. Really. It's amazing to feel a little of what he is in this relationship. Okay, so now did I hear Guru Ravi here? No, she didn't.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Welcome, dear.
Thank
now
you.
I have to tell everybody that a beautiful package from Remedies have arrived from her for me, and I am so grateful, dear. So after we finish the recording, would you stay on the line?
Sure.
Okay, good. So, dear, what was your experience of this?
It was very intense. I'm driving back from the airport, so I didn't want to talk at the very beginning. I'm okay now, but I was still having very deep experiences, and just thinking before the call, everyone there was so kind to me. I mean, just everyone I ran into in Dallas was, I mean, it's just the coziness and the kindness, and I kept feeling that, and I was feeling that again on the call, and I felt the hook from the sky very deeply. I felt that pristine, crystalline expression of who we are through heart breath, and felt just an intense lifting up when Babaji was talking about the hook in the sky that lifted everything. And then as we were brought through the healing, I felt that very deeply too, even though my attention is not totally on, I'm doing different things than just sitting here experiencing, but the experience was very, very deep. So I felt the miscommunication. I understood that. And when you feel heard and misunderstand what someone says to you, that it's those old keloids of having your heart broken, in all the ways that were mentioned, and, through great loss and through even tragedies and accidents, that all of that was just coming before me to be healed. And it felt it was very cozy and kind. And then I kept going back to the kindness that I've been surrounded with the last day and a half, that really just, it blew me away.
How incredible.
It was just like angels. I felt surrounded by angels.
He says this is where we're moving. This is where we're moving. This is what this new age means, just what you are describing. As we let go and have what you might say just that it's beyond courage. He says it's just like a flinging off of old ropes and ties to be present to whatever it is. He says that's where the kindness arises. And he says, you have done that. Did you go there to teach?
No, I went there. One of my sisters from Miami had a 3-hour layover yesterday at DFW, so I drove to the airport to meet her, and then I don't like to drive at night, so I got a room there and then left out about 10 this morning. So, no, I was kind of hanging around there for a while waiting for her, and then afterwards, and that's when I ran into all the very, very kind people that helped me, and just asking for directions and was being walked to where I needed to go, and if you can't find it, come back and I'll help you more. And I mean, it was the way they did it. It was almost like I felt they weren't human, which is terrible to say, but we are human, and we're moving towards humanity. In that we've even had a word to describe humanity is pretty bizarre, but that's what they felt like, true humans, I would say, instead of angels, but, in bodies, but that cozy, kind, sweet nectar almost. It was incredible.
Yes, he says that's where we're headed. And, of course, your vibration calls that from others as well. So God bless you, dear.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was wonderful. Okay,
yes,
who else can share their experience?
It was a wonderful experience. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Who else can share?
Hi, Siri Gian. This is Nilu.
Oh, good. Who's there? I want to know. There are at least two of you. Huh? I think I heard Put 'em Dion, right?
Yes.
And who else?
Nilu.
Oh, Nilu, you're here. Oh, good.
Hi.
Okay. So, Put 'em Dion.
Yes, hi. First of all, thank you, because for a lot of reasons. I've been applying what you suggested, and it's very interesting because exactly what's come up is an awareness of these heart scars to the point that it feels like I have a heart attack. I mean, I wake up in the morning feeling like I have had a heart attack, and it won't go away for hours and hours. And as we were doing the process, of course, I felt very blessed because it felt so personal and so uniquely for my need. And also thank you for including me in the list. I'm right next to Syria. That's pretty bad. But
no, now wait a minute. Turn that around, please.
Okay. Yes, I will.
You're not bad.
I'm really blessed to have this.
Okay, there you go.
I'm very blessed. I feel very special.
Okay.
What happened was because I personally, my personal life, even though I've had disappointments and things like everybody else, I could not connect to where scars were coming from, but it really resonated to other things, including the heart scars connected to issues of like spiritual lives, like being killed when I was a monk or something like that. It didn't resonate looking for the more romantic, treason or emotional disappointment. When you guide us into that space, I could see them in my heart and clearly occupying so much of it. There was not much room. So I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to re-listen to this a few times because I feel like I'm cleaning lifetimes, and it felt. Yeah. And I will tell you something. I was not in a crying mood. I didn't feel like I was crying, but my eyes were tearing, and they were dropping. I mean, it was like the angels were crying through my eyes because I wasn't crying.
I got it. That means a very, very deep healing was going on.
Exactly. Thank you.
Wonderful. Keep it up. We are really, we're being pushed these days to heal the depth of lifetimes in order to move on. The energy is so pure and so high that it will not contain the old stuff. So we are being pushed. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Nilu.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just came on like 5 minutes ago. I'm at work actually, and my patient rescheduled and canceled, and I was like, oh my God, just sitting there. And I was like, oh my God, Wednesday morning, I can call and listen. I never get to do this because I'm always at work, but I'm not sure exactly what everybody else is talking about, what experience, because I guess I wasn't on the calls previously.
Well, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
It's fun and to share into this energy. Have you been to the East Coast yet?
No, I'm going Friday.
Friday. Okay, you got our heart breath. Soul has led her to go to the East Coast on Friday, and we'll find out later what happens. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to trust Soul and just go with it. And some days I'm like, what am I doing? Oh my God! Like seriously, I'm actually just, got a ticket and I'm going and to meet someone that I have only seen once. But I'm like, okay, well, whatever Soul says, I'm just going with it. And just Soul keeps giving me this image over and over again of like holding my hand and just guiding me. And the other day it was amazing. I just did my my meditation. I'm still doing Sodarshan Chakra Kriya, and I just got so relaxed, like incredibly. I never get that relaxed. I used to get very relaxed with Kirtan Kriya, but I got really, really relaxed, and then felt Soul doing this healing thing with me. I was going to post it on the forum because it was amazing. Like Soul was healing me, kind of like how I had a session with you. It was just taking me to all of these things and these dark places in my mind, the things I'm scared of, my childhood. It was just like a flashback of my life, like episode to an episode. And it was like telling me why this happened or why did this person say this to me and making me forgive it. And I couldn't believe it. It was like my whole life kind of flashed in front of my eyes.
What a gift. What a gift.
Really, yeah, indeed.
Good. So that's what's happening these days, like what you were talking about, what Kaur.m4v was talking about, feeling like she had a heart attack in the night. Those are all that scarring of heart. And what amazing days, huh?
Yeah,
okay, thank you, dear.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Siri Gian? I don't know if a lot of like I read this book before, The Artist's Way, and they talk about like journaling and writing, everything that kind of comes to your mind, kind of purging, which I started doing, and I realized like how much is my EDS or my mind monster is just so active, like especially in the morning when I wake up, and all these like just so much negativity that comes out on the paper, and it takes you to the depths of it because I never realized like there's so much in there. And I don't know, is that a good thing to do? Because does that like activate the mind monster more and makes my EDS more verbal, or is that a good thing? Is that like truly purging and going in and figuring out like the depths of it?
Well, I would suggest that the first thing you do before you start journaling is put yourself into the soul space or into the light, into soul before you start doing that. And then let it come out. But everything that comes out allows soul to move you to heal it, just like you described before. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because if you just try to do it in a way just with your everyday self, that takes years and years, in my opinion. But if you let it come out, if you let that stuff come out to be healed through soul's guidance, it can be very helpful.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, who else can share?
Siri Gian?
Yes, Ratmani?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have two offerings. One is a poem that Tomas wrote. I want to share that in Aramaic, the word vision, as in I am the vision of God on earth, is the same word that also means passion, delight, and it was translated traditionally as will. So Tomas's poem is his rendering of the line from the so-called Lord's Prayer, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven," more like, I'm willing to be your vehicle on earth for the universal intelligence that manifests so beautifully throughout the heavens. So he calls it direct connection with omnidirectional perfection. That's the title.
Wow.
Direct connection with omnidirectional perfection. Underlying cohesive force, both lowly and exalted. Undying source of life and flawless mystery. We set aside seeming imperfections and let a collective sigh coalesce eternal yearnings as we merge our earthen home and sky-blossoming abode. Embossed with light, our minds unite in seamless circuitry, while frantic searching and pedantic urgency subside, inviting an upsurgence of divine delight.
How delicious.
Yeah.
An resurgence of divine delight. That's it. That's what happens as we heal those heart scars, huh?
Yes, and I wanted to share that when you first introduced Baba Siri Chand through you, I am the vision of God on earth, I immediately got the Aramaic equivalent, which is really lovely. I just like to share it for the sound for all my brothers and sisters out there. Inana Seviana Dalaha Ba'ar'ah. Inana Seviana Dalaha Ba'ar'ah. Inana Seviana Dalaha Ba'ar'ah. Isn't that lovely?
So beautiful.
Yeah, it just started sounding.
Like
yeah. Yeah, so
lovely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both. Thank you, Tomas, and thank you, Rahmani. Made our life richer. Thank you. And we have just a little more time. Who can share? Sadanam, can you share?
I can. I had a question arise.
Yes.
During that whole process we were going through, and it was linked to something I've been doing the past weeks. Is I've been consciously relaxing, laying down like in a shavasana and trying to relax my body and merge with the energy. And this morning I couldn't do it.
Oh.
And it was so interesting, like my physical body was relaxed, but something else wasn't. And so my question, was how do you move through that? And it wasn't like the energy was intense, but there was something else going on. And then you said something about merging together the different bodies and dimensions. And so I don't even know how to ask that question. Do you understand?
Well, let's ask Baba Siri Chand. He should know. What he's saying is, my dear, you are caught between the worlds. He says, it is as though, now you have to tell me if this is true or not. It is as though you were doing your best to climb to another level, another world. Is this true?
Yes.
He says, trying to climb is not going to work. He says the only thing that is going to work is for you to be absolutely present. He says, do your heart breath. Be absolutely present. He says, I'm telling you to be solid, but it's not like solid, something you can knock on. He says, but be fully expansive and aware in your heart. Move that through your whole body. He says, understand that on the first three dimensions, if you will, and allow that then to merge with the fourth. But don't try to pull it. He says, allow it. Allow yourself to be in the calmest but most calm state And he says, just as in Tomas's poem, allow, I don't know quite how he put it, the delightful divinity, allow it to visit you and move as you. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm. Yes, it does.
Okay.
But it was interesting because I thought that's what I was doing. That's why it's almost like there was
he says it just
another layer that I didn't have access to on how to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
you
you see the word get there.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? The word get there means trying to go to.
Mhm.
In fact, you're going, the key is to go in the other direction. It is to surrender to. Do you see the difference?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
But I think what I was feeling, I probably wasn't doing it at the time, but that's what I thought I was doing. I was sinking down into and letting go of everything. But there was there was a certain layer maybe I didn't have access to, but then when I was listening to you was maybe there was a merging happening between these different bodies or something, and then that's...
Mm-hmm. He says it does happen that way. He says, but be sure that you're not trying to even sink down, but just be present.
Okay.
Just be present, and he says, let it go.
Just let it happen.
Let it happen. He says, because the layer that you are looking for is a layer that is gifted to you. It is not a layer that you can reach out and grab or whatever. He says, it means hosting the invited guest, he calls it. It means being the princess in waiting for her beloved. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yes, he says, be assured it is there. It is who you are. It is, he says, it's gently held in time and space. It is. You are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all. It's just so marvelous to be with everybody as we are in the arms of Guru Ram Das and Baba Siri Chand. You know they operate together, right? You said, go ahead and say it. Okay, I always say that they're joined at the hip. They feel like this one presence with two expressions. And such a joy to be with them and with you. Okay, so now, bringing your palms together, please sing this song to each other and receive it to yourselves. Inhale. May the long time shine upon you, all love around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Inhale. And bow to this infinity of who you are. He says it is so precious, it is so beautiful and yummy. Bless you.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you, Satnam.
Satnam.